Hello, my name is Isabel or George, and I am here today to talk about my story. It's called Toomloons, and I've been working on this story for a couple years, and I want to start sharing it because I feel like I'm at the point where the story's kind of solidified, and I also need help with the story, so anyone out there, that wasn't funny. But I want to put my stuff out there. And if any of my friends or my family is interested in hearing what I have to say, then it's here. So I want to get started on the main story, but there's a lot of background details that we have to get into before we do that. So let's get started. So the giant incomplete map I have behind me is the whole planet of Ursay, which is where the story takes place. There are a total of 9 continents, I believe. You cannot see them because it's incomplete and I don't feel like completing it, but hopefully I will. I started outlining it so you can kind of see it better. I don't know what to tell you, but that's Dianico, No Man's Land, former Mosiah, Amity, Fumar, Kolodo, Zoaregno, Ark, and Zamila. This world's versions of humans are called Nebulans, and the reason why they are called Nebulans is when a person dies, their body remains on the earth, but their soul travels up toward space, and their soul is turned into a star. But basically, their soul is in the middle, and the star is basically like a shell protecting it. And when the star explodes after thousands of years, the soul travels back downwards towards the earth again, and the person is reincarnated. The main difference between our lifespan and a Nebulan's lifespan is that it's just a couple hundreds of years longer. Like, say we age up until 100 ideally, they can go up until 200 to 250, but their aging is de-accelerated. I don't know what the word is for that, but they don't age as fast as we do. I drew a lot of inspiration from Avatar: The Last Airbender. In this world, the equivalent of bending is Mahayas. You can either be born with or without a Mahaya. There are 4 of them: water, fire, wind, or plant. I would love to dive deeper into the specifics of what each Mahaya can do and other stuff that we're gonna get into, but that is not what we're doing today. I want to get the foundation cleared so that I could start talking about the story, But if you're interested, maybe I will make a separate video about that. All Mahayas have their own country of origin. I've labeled each one on the map and hopefully on the screen. You done? Okay. The geographical location is important because each Mahaya has their own source of energy, which is called the ancient powers. Ancient for short. We have the ovum of Dragonates, the heart of Ardet, the tree of Netuda, and the Austrium. Not only do the ancient powers channel the energy needed for people to use their Mahaya, they are also the source of their respective element. For example, the Austrium keeps all the water on the planet flowing, and one thing to note, the ancients can be destroyed, and if they are destroyed, say the tree, all flora and nature on the planet will die out. and slowly the rest of the elements will be thrown out of balance, and that's not really good. So if this were to occur, each of the powers created offspring called deities as insurance. So if an ancient were destroyed, the deities can give their life back to the powers and restore the ancient. Thousands of years ago, when the deities were first created, they were sent to share their gifts with the Nebulans by order of the ancients. So that's how the Nebulans developed Mahayas and the ability to control the elements. Each generation, a Nebulan is granted the ability to manipulate all the Mahayas. This person is called the Mahaya holder, aka the Avatar. They are supposed to maintain order and share their power with the world. They can also restore the ancients if they are destroyed without sacrificing their lives, so that's a plus. And it is tradition in Kolodo for the Mahaya holder to become the country's next leader. Sorry, my bangs look like crap. I just took a shower. Anyways, we've talked about Mahayans, but the people who are born without Mahayas are Normalas. Judging by the name, Normalas are just ordinary people, but they do have the option to become witches. But it's not like just anybody can become a witch. You need a pretty strong immune system, muscle density, and an overall like strong and healthy body to be able to stand the energy magic forces onto your body. If you don't have any of the above, you are like at serious risk of your body like deteriorating, accelerated aging, and a lot of health risks. I could go on about this stuff, but that's not what we're talking about today. There are tons of different magic types, and each correspond with a color, and depending on what magic you use, your hair color will change. Ah, pretty cool. For example, let's use my hair color. Pink is power magic. It can amplify any other magic type you wield, or just increases your strength in any way you please. Power magic is very versatile, and you could tailor it to like whatever you need, but not all magic is like that. For example, healing. Healing is purple, and it's a type of magic that takes up like all of your energy, and it isn't commonly mastered. I'm gonna move on, but I'll put some magic types and colors on the screen. I do need help assigning more magic to colors, so if you can comment some ideas, that'd be really helpful. Also, Dianico is the witch's country up to the north. It isn't magic, and it won't change your hair color, but there are special abilities that are like passed down through bloodlines. They're kind of like crests or dominant or recessive genes. You can or you can't, but they're not natural. They're usually bestowed upon by gods or devils, but I'm gonna get into that, don't worry. It could be a blessing or a curse, but it's just like some supernatural ability that you can have. It could be completely useless, or I don't know, whatever you want. Just a disclaimer, when I like refer to the term gods or devils or angels or demons, I'm not referring to like biblical stuff, like not the actual devil. When I say gods, I don't mean like Christianity God or Greek gods. It's just a term that I'm using. So gods, as I said before, they're not referring to actual gods, but they're just a term to describe specific type of people. And there are 3 criterias you need to become a god. This also applies to devils. So number 1, you have inhumane abilities. This is up to interpretation, but it's just above, like way above average, like a genetic mutation, but like up there. Number two, they can make, well, yeah, they can gift blessings or curses. Normal people can't do that, but if they are a god or a devil, they can do that. Number two, they can make angels or demons, or they can control their angels or demons. Obviously, gods and angels go together, and devils and demons go together. Also, what I mean by inhumane abilities, it's separated from angels and devils. So, if you are an angel and you can be classified as a god, but if you're a demon, you'd be classified as a devil. But when I say God, I don't mean God. It's just, a term, but there are only two true gods in this world. And they can also make angels, but they're not angels like these gods can. They're pure angels, like the highest form. So, kind of holy, kind of like Christianity-ish, like the stuff that you find in the Bible. But yeah, everybody else is used to describe angels or demons with god-like powers. Just putting that out there, just in case it's a little hard to follow, and I'm sorry. At this point of the story, there's only one devil left. There used to be a few, handful, but there was a war a couple hundreds of years ago. There are still gods, but not a lot of them. And there's still angels, but definitely not a lot of them. There's one devil, but there's still a pretty big population of demons. But even though demons and angels are technically two different species, they do have one thing in common. I'm gonna get into that. I'm probably not gonna be looking at the camera. I'm sorry if that bothers you, but I'm reading off of the script because this is really difficult to explain without any sort of reference, and you're just going off of your mind. This is how I lose people. Anyways, one thing you should understand is Sengen. When an animal dies, their spirit becomes like a crystal, like kind of like the star. Instead of a star forming around the soul or the spirit, it just crystallizes. And the crystal can project the animal's body, almost like a ghost or something. So the animal can basically keep living through the Sengun, but they cannot interact with physical objects. The people of Zoregno are based around protecting the Sengun. If you destroy a certain part or the core of the Sengun, the animal will be gone forever. So Zoregno prevents people from abusing the power of Sengun and just prevent people from animal abuse. It's over here, by the way. For Sengun to project their bodies, they require a Nebulon. And if the Sengun likes their possessor, they'll project their bodies and grant the humans certain powers. The powers depend on the type of animal they were. For example, if it's a rabbit, it'll grant you like the ability to run quicker or jump higher. The more powerful the animal, the powers they give are much stronger. Another important thing is Sengun is lethal to demons and angels. Mahayans can't have Sengun. They can have Sengun, but cannot control them or receive any powers. Zoregno, just a little piece of history. Zoregno has a rough history with like oppressing the angels and demons that are citizens of their country, but the current ruler is trying to fix their relationship with other countries and their own. Also, powerful singing can be passed down through generations and like families and stuff. Just keep that in mind. One thing I forgot to mention, I don't have any sticky notes for this one because I ran out of colors. Ark is the country for demons, and former God bless. Former Mosiah was the country for angels and gods, but since there are basically none left, nobody has it. And since there's so much war and conflict in that land, nobody wants to like build on it in fear of being like cursed and stuff, so it's no man's land. Thank you for watching my video. Sorry if it was like pretty hard to follow. I'm not very good at speaking in general. I'll try to upload more if you're interested in the story. I'll probably upload this story or something. Anyway,